I think people wait for opportunity, and then what happens is that they wait, they get frustrated, and then they go for the plan B. They never think about creating a platform for themselves.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the BloomX podcast. Thank you again for MCRO for sponsoring this episode. You guys have been doing a great job on continuing to support us in the community we're trying to build. MCRO, if you guys are ever looking for any programming help, building apps, software, definitely hit them up. They're super responsive, LinkedIn and other channels. And also, again, thank you for Huddle for having us here at this beautiful space and filming out of the conference room. Shout out to you guys. Guys, we have NAVZ-47. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Ravi?
I'm great. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking so much about having you on the show, mostly because I'm super excited for this one. Right? We've been friends for like 80 years now.
Yes.
We just calculated that. And I've seen the growth of you before NAVZ, before you're known as NAVZ, Naveeni, right? I didn't even call you that actually.
Yeah.
I was so super confused for the longest time what your real name was, because you were experimenting at that time about finding your identity and your voice and all that, like, especially from like right when we met, right? Like you came up and started talking to me and you're like, hey, you know, I'm from Montreal, I'm new here, you know, what's up? I think we met at at Vino's sister's wedding, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a mutual friend introduced us. And one of the things I loved about you is how straightforward you just talked about, you know, who you are, what you experienced, and you know, you just wanted to be known. Yeah. And that's what we really connected off of.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And
I know, like I was looking forward to this interview because I know that I'm getting interviewed by someone who knows me. So it's a different story, right? Because you've seen me before I became NAVZ-47 and as Naveeni. Yeah. So for me, it's like I was really excited to have this conversation with you because we go way back.
Yeah. I mean, we have a surprise video in store later, but I remember like just us in the back in my backyard, right? My boys be there, some guys be there, like Nero will be there playing drums, Sajeev will be there rapping, and you'd come in with Tamil freestyle rap, blowing everybody away, because here is this like, you know, like small Sri Lankan girl who comes in with a loud voice, this aggressive tone, and it was like that voice, right? I mean, that's really what compels, I think, everyone who listens to you, because you can hear the power behind it.
Thank you.
And one of the things I benefited from is seeing the development of that, right? I mean, I remember when you started teaching yourself how to play guitar, right? Like, I remember like that scene from Friends when like the character Phoebe, like she made up her own names for the chords when she learned the guitar. Yeah. And you were kind of doing that too because you're learning it off YouTube.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, that was your grind. Like you use YouTube to learn a musical instrument, get more musically inclined, and from there start singing, right? Discovering your voice through that. But man.
Talk about technology. Yeah. Like, you know, you can learn anything off YouTube. So I did learn how to play the guitar off YouTube. And you're right. I think for me to get comfortable with my voice, it took me some time because I know it's aggressive. I know it overpowers the beat half of the time when I'm trying to sing. And the moment I start accepting my voice for what it is, that's when the whole NAVZ-47 started happening. Yeah. Because before I was like, because in Tamil movies and stuff like that, you don't hear a voice that's aggressive. You always hear this soft tone, high pitched, sweet voice. So growing up for me, that was the right type of voice. And I was like, I don't have that type of voice. And I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't comfortable singing. That's why I think rap was a form of me to like, you know, express myself. Because when you're rapping, you don't really have to worry about the pitch. Yeah. You don't have to worry about the tone or anything. You can just, it's the attitude that matters when you're rapping and your expression. So when I started rapping, that's when I realized that, hey, people like it. So the NAVZ-47 journey started because I started accepting me for who I am.
Definitely. Yeah. And you first started rapping in Tamil, right? Which is supremely hard. Nowadays you go on YouTube and find people experimenting in this style, but really you started experimenting yourself without having much influence coming in. And that's I think that one of the reasons why you have such a strong voice is because you've discovered it for yourself rather than imitating different art forms.
Absolutely right.
And even when you first started rapping, like a lot of people who heard it, like a lot of people who heard it before were like always astounded, like, yo, how is she connecting these words together? Because Tamil, like one of the things like I want to bring up too is that how strongly you love the language, right? I still have the book where you try to teach me Tamil because I'm such a lost cause, right? Like my boys all call me whitewashed because like I came here knowing Tamil, knowing Sinhalese, like growing up in like born in Jaffna, grew up in Colombo, came here when I was 6, forgot everything.
Yeah.
Right? Fluent in 2 languages, came here, learned a third, and forgot the first 2. And it never got back into learning it. As much as like my parents tried, much as I tried, it was hard.
Yes.
Right? But you gave such a compelling like love for this language that I was willing to sit down with you and actually pay attention, right? And go through that. And where did that come from? I mean, for you, like, what does Tamil identity mean? Like,
I think in Tamil.
Yeah.
So for me to be able to sing, write, or anything, it comes from my mother tongue. And speaking about mother tongue, my mother is a huge influence. And her love for Tamil is beyond anything.
Yeah.
And I think it's from her that I got this passion for the language and the love for the history and everything. So I didn't even try writing or singing in any different language. Tamil was the first and the only option that I had because again I think Tamil. So yeah, I just love the language, and it's definitely my mother like plays a huge role in it because she made sure that we didn't speak French when we were raised in Montreal. You know how you said that, you know, when you start learning a new language you forget the older one, so that's what happened. So when I learned French, my mother made sure that at home we speak Tamil.
Yeah.
So that was the rule, and if we spoke any other language than Tamil, you would see slippers running across the room, broomsticks and everything. So yeah, shout out to my mother. Honestly, like she's the reason why I am who I am today.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm so grateful that a strong lady like that, like was part of my life. And she still is so supportive for what I do. Never said no to anything that I wanted to do. So yeah, that's how it all started. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, how do you like attribute that that childhood to that? Because you're from Montreal,
yeah,
right? And you learned French from a young age. Were you born in Montreal?
No. I was born in Colombo.
Okay.
And then I came to Canada when I was 11, 12 years old. And I was in Montreal. I learned French, and then I moved to Toronto.
Yeah, and like that Montreal culture definitely influenced you.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you like it's like Montreal especially has such a liberal thinking city. Like Toronto's a banking city. We're so conservative here. Everyone here is so harsh. Yeah. I remember you initially talking about this. People here are so different. Like you used to talk back about Montreal, what you miss it because you can just literally be in the street after a party, and people just want to talk and just talk to you and like communicate. Whereas here, you know, you go into like Adelaide, like or Richmond Street after on a Saturday night, people are fighting in the street. Like, you know, they're very aggressive to each other. Yeah. The culture shift just between Montreal to moving here, right? Did that impact you in any way?
Yeah, I did, because first of all, like I didn't know English. I learned French. So I knew Tamil and then I learned French. And the lifestyle is so different. Like you said, in Toronto, it's like from point A, point B, point C, everything is like a schedule and you have no time to stop and talk to people. Where in Montreal, nobody is worried about saving money. Like, you know, if anybody had $5, they would think about, hey, I'm going to go to the convenience store, buy a beer. But here, like every penny, like they want to save. And that culture was did definitely have an impact on me, because I left all my friends there and then I have to make new friends. The language, even the fashion, like I don't have to tell you about Montreal fashion. It's French. And when I moved here, everybody was looking at me so weird. Why does she have a weird accent? So again, when I came from Sri Lanka to Montreal, I had to adapt to that culture. And then Montreal to Toronto, it was like a different country. It felt like I'm in a different country because of the whole change.
And I mean, you talked about this before to me elsewhere, like how vocal of a person you were, and the ability to have to learn a third language now, right, in your teenage years, your late teenage years now especially, that prevented you from being able to communicate, and that frustration that brought out, right? Like, did that lead to you creating your art? Like, the frustration of being unable to communicate? Yeah,
I think when I started writing music, it's because I was frustrated, angry. I don't know how to express myself, and it would come in a form of writing. So that writing later on turned into songs when I learned how to play the guitar. And then it turned out to rap because I didn't like my singing voice. So the transition, like the main one was the frustration. Like every time I see injustice in the society, or like every time I watch news, anything that upset me, writing was my escape.
Yeah.
Even now, like
so you write more?
Yes, pen and paper is like my escape. Anything that goes through my life, the first interaction that I have is with my diary. So that's how everything transitioned. And
have you ever thought about like blogging about this, like instead of like writing for yourself, writing for your audience?
So lately I've been writing under my Instagram, like pictures. I start to write in English, like, you know, like have a caption of like what happened, like, you know, but I don't think I'm comfortable enough to speak in public or even like have a blog where it's all about like my journey. But maybe eventually I think I'll be ready. But as of now,
that'd be a lot of people really interested in that, because you've organically grown. It's not like you were discovered. Not like someone found you and made you think. Like you've tried and tested and like slowly grew your audience, like by singing, and like as you trained yourself, literally trained yourself in this art form to communicate this. And it's been a journey for you, right? So, DL, can you bring up her Instagram actually? Right, like I mean, looking through your Instagram, like you created it really well, because it showcases all aspects of you. Like right off this, you know, you showcase your family, right? You're an aunt now, congrats.
Yes.
Right,
Auntie 47.
Right, and you talk about your other art you're into. You talk about, you know, all the different things.
Yeah, that's my mother, and pretty much it started from zero. Everything that I've gained, like every supporters, every single one of them, I earned through like you said, like organically, like. Nobody gave me a shout out, nobody gave me an opportunity to sing, nobody gave me a stage. It was based on my own will.
Definitely.
And I think that everybody should create their own platform. Because I reached out to so many singers before. I'm like, hey, can I join your band? Can I sing? They're like, no, your voice doesn't suit this song, suit that song. Then you know what? I'm going to write my own song. Then what? Nobody can say that I'm not hitting the pitch correctly. It's my song. So I can see however I want. So everything. I think people wait for opportunity, and then what happens is that they wait, they get frustrated, and then they go for the plan B. They never think about creating a platform for themselves. It's 2020. It's digital era. Everything can be done online. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, the ease of access, right? Yeah. You no longer have to go and beg a radio station, hey, play my CD, or you remember back in the days, people were like, yo, hear my music. Yeah. Like trying to sell an idea, it's different now, because you can just put it online. Exactly. And let people come to you. Exactly. Right? Let your art speak for itself. Yeah, that's an advantage that we have, I would say. When did you first start posting your stuff online? I've been posting for a very long time, since maybe 2012. I think it was my fashion year. Like I would post more of my outfits and stuff like that. Yeah, you're always on that. Yeah, 2014 was my emo year, where I would like with my guitar sing sad songs. 2016 is when I'm like, you know what? Get more coordinated. Yeah. What brand I want to build. I'm gonna become a rapper. Yeah. Mom, I'm gonna become a rapper. Okay. How's that conversation like? Like I said, my mom is like very supportive. She's like, do whatever you want, because I don't take no as an answer. Yeah. So cool. I mean, literally one of the first times we hung out, you're like, I didn't recognize you because you just dyed your hair bright red. Right? I was like, I came to pick you up, and like I was waiting around this plaza, and you walk right by me, and you're like, hey. It's me, new hair. Right, completely new hair, different. And like a few months will go by, and it's a completely different you. Right, you're like reinventing yourself through fashion almost, like because like the way looking back at it, you're trying to express yourself again, right? Coming back down to expression. So I really want to talk about the music video you shot in the desert, right? Like that was your first like professionally done concept video, right? Yes. Shout out to Cole and Sean. Yeah, beautifully done. Thank you. Right, it came out really well. So proud of you when this came out, because I can understand the amount of work that went into planning this, especially when you had to go into a desert somewhere and do that. Yeah, you're good there. Yeah, so that song was like literally two people, me and Cole and Sean. So it was like, it turned out very nice. Cool. Can you play some in the background for us? And I mean, this is in the Salt Plains, right? In Nevada? This one is in Utah.
Utah.
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you find the
Colon.
down?
Colon.
Yeah.
Colon found this place. He found this bus.
I love how this song starts.
Yeah.
Like right from the way like you just launch yourself, right? And like, can you go back and play the hook actually? I'm not sure if it's gonna come out really well, but I think this song really introduced your voice to the world, and I think you kind of did it purposely, right? Like there was no like normal intro like you do nowadays where you're like waiting around and you jump in a beat. You went right in with the powerful.
I think that's my style. Even my song Kadali, it goes right away with like. Yeah, it just.
I love that.
Straight to the point.
To be honest, completely honest, I have no idea what anything you're saying.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Ravi, I'm so disappointed.
I'm so bad in Tamil, right? I don't understand it. When I listen to your music, I'm not listening for the. Maybe putting it back down. I'm not listening to actually the lyrics. I'm sad to say, because I'm sure they're brilliant, but I hear the intent.
Yeah.
I hear the passion behind it, and I'm moved by that, and that's why I'm always playing this, right?
Aww.
Even though I don't understand it, and I think like that the thing that everyone else saw as a weakness in you, that voice, that raw power, that crack voice you talk about a lot, it's your calling card.
Yeah.
It's what makes you, right? Yeah. And it's become that. So sorry, I cut you off. Like it became like your voice became like this tool you utilize, right? When you first made this song, like made this video, like what was the process like, right? Figuring out how to shoot it and all that.
So first it started with the studio, like Steve Cliff made the beat, and when he was playing the beat, usually I get ideas right away. When he played the song, the hook came to my mind. When that part came, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the hook, and then I started writing. Like I was sitting literally on the floor. I mean, he had couches, trust me, but I just wanted to sit on the floor and start writing. And then I go to the studio, record it, and then I show it to Colin Sean. And Colin Sean would give me the green signal if he feels like, like if he wants to work on this project. So he said yes. And then we reached out to sponsors. So the Firm Group sponsored this music video.
Awesome, yeah.
So
shout out to Suman.
Yeah, with that budget, Colin Sean, what he would do is he will find these places to go. We booked an Airbnb, and then we just went. And then I'm my own stylist, makeup artist, and I was just doing my thing, and he shot it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How many times did you work on the song? Like, do you ever edit it, like, or like they did come to you full formed almost?
Songs just come to me, and I don't force it. And once I have like a small, chorus or words would just start come to my mind, and I will put it together. Yeah. And I think you said that you don't understand the language, but you feel the energy. It's because what I'm saying is based on true story.
Yeah.
My music, my art is based on true story. So that's why I think that people could connect with me easily because they could feel the energy, the passion, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you've been invited to the UN. I mean, you went to the multicultural, cultural show by the UN. Yes. And I think that's again power of art, right?
Yes.
You found a way to cross those barriers of language. Yeah,
and especially someone who makes music in Tamil. Like they invited me to go to Rwanda. Yeah. And even for Bill Gates' 25th anniversary, I opened the 25th anniversary dinner gala, but I was singing in Tamil. Yeah. And I never ever thought that someone who will make music in their mother tongue will get an opportunity where you're singing in front of people who don't understand your music. So for me, it was like, okay, so this is
that's
really,
a beautiful moment.
Yeah, I feel honestly blessed because people can connect with me, and that's a blessing.
Yeah, because Tamil is a classical language in the world.
Oldest,
right? It's the oldest spoken language. I think 60 million people still speak it. Yeah. And direct lineage goes back 4,000, 5,000 years. We have books that document that. Yes. And yet it's the least known language, right? Everyone knows Latin, Mandarin, right? I think there's one more. Right. It's 4 classical languages, officially recognized classical languages, and Tamil just became the recent one. Yeah. Right, and I mean, in UFD now they're starting a Tamil research chair now to to learn the language, right? So, I mean, what about you're propagating the language almost in your own way by showcasing it in an art form,
I think so. I think so. I'm making it cool.
Yeah.
I want the teenagers to be like, yeah, wearing a putty is cool. Smelling like curry is cool. That means your mom made fresh food at home.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, being called fob is cool.
Yeah.
That means like you're rich in culture and you're bringing so much to the table.
Yeah,
So I want to tell like the younger generation, don't be ashamed of who you are. Being Tamil, it's such a cool thing. Your language is one of the oldest language, so just be proud.
No, I mean that message speaks definitely, and your audience has been resonating on that because I mean any immigrant that goes to the immigrant experience feels that cultural kind of shame, where it's like my differentness is not fitting the main line. But now I think in the age of Instagram and social media, people across bounds can like connect with each other because they can connect with through your culture. Like what makes you different is now makes you stand out. And most of your fan base are like these 16-year-old girls who like, you know, TikTok over your voice and like will record that. And one of the things I appreciate you is like anytime anyone mentions you, especially on Instagram, you're resharing them. You're like, hey, this is a platform, right? If you're part of this, if you're singing along, if you feel this music, if you're dancing along to it, I'm gonna reshare you. And I mean, one of the things you appreciate is that like one of the first people I saw utilize this really was you, the resharing.
Thank you.
You reshared, like you have 30 reshares, and like watching your story was like, holy shit, there's a movement behind this, right? People are resonating with this. Some people sit there and talk about what it means to them. They're like driving to work in their car, you know, like, you know, and so many times you have shared screenshots of like girls all over the world who like send you like, you're my inspiration, you know, calling you Akka and all that, right?
Yeah, I mean, like Naveeni Akka, it's a movement. It seems like I'm trying to tell people not to be like me, but I guess that it's doing the opposite.
Don't be like Naveeni Akka, right? I mean, that started with like an inside family joke.
Inside family joke. Everybody is like, don't be like her. Look at her, that Akka, don't be like her. So it just became like a trend. So I'm like, don't be like me. I mean, I love your family dynamic, man. There's 4 of you guys, right? Like you have 3 siblings, right? I mean, your brother is into martial arts and MMA, right? He's running his Muay Thai gym right now. Your sister, she's always like taking care of you and making sure you're good. And she's an artist too. She paints very well. My older sister.
And like your support level that your family gives you, like you guys like you guys are so supportive around each other. Was that like, did you build that kind of infrastructure with them? Like, was it always like everyone felt that?
No, it wasn't like on a professional level where we talked about it, hey, this is what we need to do, but it just happened naturally. My younger sister also sings very well and she plays the piano. We used to have like jamming session in the house before when I was a bit bald. So she's actually going to UFT as well. So if you see in my family, everybody is so talented in different level, and we always support each other. And I never felt the need to have friends or you know, having like a group of people where I wanted to mingle, because like I always had my siblings by my side. So it was such a natural thing. Like, you know, my shows, they would come, they would be in the front line, they would sing, they would shout my name. So honestly, like, it's also a blessing, I would say.
No, definitely. Let's jump to that video that I wanted to bring up. So I wanted to bring this as a surprise, but unfortunately we got caught up in the moment, and I did reveal it to you. So this is your first real performance, right?
Yes.
Was this your first performance? So this is at Lakshan and Divya's wedding, like in wedding reception? What was it, engagement reception? Engagement reception. And would they ask you, or did you offer to sing?
I'm not sure how it worked, but I have a habit of bringing my guitar everywhere I go. I wouldn't be surprised if I told them, hey, I'm gonna perform for your engagement. But you shot this. So I shot this because I'm like, I need to capture this. Because up until this point, I was hearing your struggle, like, I'm learning, Ravi, I'm learning guitar on YouTube. You know, I don't know the chords, but I'm just going at it. You know, I'm trying to sing. Whatever sounds good,
you're just figuring it out. So I'm like, you've been grinding on this for about a good year. So I'm like, someone's got to record this. No one was. So I'm like, I need to jump there and get it. And I'm glad I did, because I mean, what a progression it's been. So this is your first performance, first video, and I had to upload it on YouTube. So this is uploaded in 2012 to YouTube, my personal account. Please don't find it. I'm gonna reshare it somewhere else. But yeah, let's play something.
Oh God, I don't want to hear how I sound. Look at my hair, look at the way I'm dressed. Oh my God. This is the first song that I wrote on my guitar.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Aww. Oh God.
Yeah. You pause that? So like, again,
Oh,
to this day,
Lord.
still don't know all the words or what you're saying. You did explain to me after.
Yeah.
But I used to like, after I uploaded this, I used to play this randomly because I'm like, I could hear this, especially this part where your the inflection of your voice.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't trained. That came out because you're feeling
it. Yeah.
You're feeling it.
Yeah.
And I knew that because I knew what you're doing, and I'm like, this girl's gonna blow up, like in the back of my head,
that? Oh,
right?
God.
So like, I know I used to bug you. I used to call you all the time. I'm like, yo, now, I haven't seen you in a while, but you gotta keep doing this. I'm having a barbecue. Come and do something.
Yes.
Come and perform. Come and do this. And I would almost purposely do this, right? The backyard barbecues. Bring Nero because he's sick on the drums. Sajeev because he's wicked beats and getting flow started, right? And you and him would go. I have like. I should still have the videos. I'm gonna try to find.
Yeah, he would rap in English and I would rap in Tamil.
Yeah.
Like we used to go like
back and forth, right? Because sometimes you'll collaborate on like right there on a song. One person will sing, the other person will rap, right? We had a lot of fun with that.
Yes.
But like, I wanted to do that, like, to be honest, because I'm like, both with Sajeev and with you, but like, especially with you, it's like, yo, you need to do this more. And I wanted to see it more, right? Because I got addicted. Right, to hearing this, and I'm so glad now I can go on Spotify and hear it.
Yes.
Right.
But this particular song is not out yet, but I'm working on it because it's my, like I said, first song that I wrote with my guitar. And we go way back, and I remember you motivating me every time I would feel down. You'd be like, you gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Like you're a superstar now, so you gotta keep going. And I think like it took me some time to realize that.
No, that's great. I'm glad you did. Right now you're like showing the world everything. Going with the UN and showing your voice, right? So I'm super proud to see that.
Thank you.
And wishing more success.
Thank you.
In the coming months, right? But right now you're working on that project. You announced it on the intro video, the start of stand-up video.
Yeah.
A new album.
Yes.
Finally, a full album.
Full album, and I'm super excited because this album is called Fob, Fresh Off the Boat, and I'm written Fob all over my face.
Perfect.
So the songs are, I'm not featuring anybody. It's just me. I'm thinking about having 11 to 12 tracks, and super excited, and hoping to release it before May. Yeah. Before May.
I remember this because I remember calling you when you released your first song. I think it's before this one. Right?
Kadali, is it?
I think so.
Okay.
Right, and you were part of a trio.
Yeah.
And I called you. I was like angry telling you, I'm like, Navz, you sound amazing. Why don't you have a single? Right? Why don't you have a single? And I'm like, after that, I'm like, why don't you have an album? Right? And then I was like, I'm hungry for it. I'm like, the world is hungry for it. But I'm so glad you're actually working on it now, and you're taking the time to develop your voice and your art form to do that. So when can people expect it to come out? Like, do you have a date?
I don't have a fixed date yet because I'm still work in progress. But I'm hoping before May. Yeah. Hoping, not sure.
Yeah. And I mean, going back to the name, right? I think that's the best title for your first album because it goes back to where you started from. Yeah. Right. I mean, you really struggle with that kind of word yourself. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Yeah. Right, I remember. I mean, our second time we hung out, right? So this is something I always engraved in my head. It was like at a formal, I think like York formal or something like that. And we caught up, and again, you saw me, ran over, and we're talking. And one of the guys at the table were like, they made a joke, laughed, is like about your accent. And I remember getting so pissed off, but then getting pissed off that I never said anything to stop them, right? Because I'm like, I was so confused because. Even though like it wasn't until you made it apparent or other people made it apparent about the accent being a thing, for me it was never an issue, because like I can like the judge of character is always there, but not everyone is like that. No. Right.
And I can tolerate like almost anything, but when people mock my identity, especially if you are another brown person and you're calling me a fob, I can't tolerate that. Like, I will put you on blast. I can't tolerate that. And my mom raised me to be very vocal. you do something like that, it's very disrespectful. I'm not the person who's like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, like I feel sorry for you. I try to do that here and there, but I'm like, yo, like, why would you? Like, I will put them in their place. And I think it's important because people don't realize how much their words could affect. I mean, hate is nothing new to me. Growing up back in Colombo to Montreal, where I got bullied, but love is new for me. So when I received this amount of support from strangers, that was new for me. So I am focusing more on the love because that's something that I haven't received growing up, like, you know, and hate is nothing. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, you're hating on me? Okay, that's cool. Like, that's old story, you know? But when someone loves me, I'm like, oh, come here. This is new. I like this feeling. Give me more. So that's where I am working on right now. I'm focusing on what's new to me, what makes me feel good.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things, like, I mean, I'm an introvert. Like, I can do this kind of stuff. I can go on the crowds, but it takes energy out of me. But I've seen you in front of a crowd. Like, you draw energy from that attention, right? Like, you shine bright when given that spotlight. And utilizing that spotlight you have now to talk about this issue is so great because, I mean, meeting you and being friends with you has really changed my opinion of this because I was 100% guilty of this, right? Like the in-group and out-group culture, right? Growing up as an immigrant, like, it's super easy to be like, oh, you know, like, we're, like, you know, different from them. Because, like, being an immigrant is already hard enough because you're different. When other people come in and be like, and act like everyone thinks immigrants are acting, can't speak the language properly or different, you know, they you know, have a weird smell, not dressing properly, right? We're like, oh shit, I'm not that. So you want to push that away from me, kind of from that, and be like, oh, I'm different. I'm part of this community.
This cooler group.
But then here you come, you know, with this French like background, with this huge fashionista kind of spirit and fiery passion. And you like
I'm on this side.
You're putting in a new category. You open up a new category almost, right? Like, people are trying to push you into this, but you weren't. You were a voice on your own, and that really kind of changed a lot of people's opinion when you start talking about this, because, you know, here you are, you know, fashion forward, right? Producing music, talking a great message to a great group of people, right? And pushing an art form that you learned and crafted yourself. You've done all these great things. So you're showcasing the power of what immigrants can do, right? What people can do, and give them that spotlight.
Thank you. It's very sweet of you. But yeah, like you said, you know, in the beginning of my music career, I was waiting for people to acknowledge me, waiting for people to tell me, Navz, I love your voice, you know, that never happened. But the moment I'm like, yo, this is my voice, and if you're giving me a spotlight or an opportunity, I'm gonna make it my own. And I love being on stage. I just feel so good when I get the attention from people, especially when people sing my songs. Oh my God, I have this feeling after when I perform. I'm like, why do they like me so much? Why do people like my music? Because when I first released my song, I said this would be it, because I'm so sure that people are not gonna like me. But I wanted to try, so I don't regret in the future. So I'm like, first song done, and I'm like, I didn't even want to check my phone, because I'm like, people are gonna like yell at me, they're gonna make fun of me. So when I released my song, I didn't even check. But then I got, like, I jumped from 3,000 followers to 15,000 followers overnight.
Wow.
Overnight. And I'm like, why do they like me? Why do they like my voice? It was such a shock for me, because I grew up people telling me, your voice is aggressive, it's not good, you sound like, you're not even sure what you're doing. Are you talking, or are you rapping, or are you singing? What is it? I do all three. How about that? You know? So I'm super blessed, honestly, super blessed to have like people liking me, loving my music, and I get these cute messages from people all over the world, and like I cry sometimes because the messages are very, very personal, and it motivates me. Every time I hit like a bump, like I would go and read the messages, and I feel good within a second.
So your fan base literally is emotionally supporting you. As well through this, right? Because I mean, putting out art, putting out something new, right, whether it's a business or an art form, I mean, that takes a lot of your soul. You know, you're kind of dangling it out there, like, vulnerable, right?
Very vulnerable. Music makes people vulnerable. Artists become so vulnerable because they're talking about themselves. And then you're giving other people the opportunity to talk about you. When you talk about something, you're allowing them to comment on it. So
I mean, let's talk a little bit about like how you operate now. It's like NAVZ-47. Now you have this brand, right? You're like you're branded. You have this name behind you. You're getting all this notice, right? Like, how do you manage all that? Like, how do you manage your content, your messaging, how you portray yourself? I mean, you've always been good about that, right? When it comes to fashion and your style, you do that all yourself, your styling and all that. But more than that, like as a brand that you're developing, right? Like, how do you think about it?
I don't plan anything. I just go with the flow. I'm very well connected with my mind and soul. If something feels right, I would talk about it. Not because it's a hot trend. I would wear something that I feel comfortable in, and not because that person's wearing it. So for me, with this whole brand and everything, I manage it on my own. But I do have like someone like my brother, my siblings, good friends. I have a friend who would like call me out on things that I shouldn't have said. So I have like good support system. So that's all I needed. You know. But in terms of professionally, like I do not have like a management team. I do not have someone telling me this time on this day if you post it, that will be more engagement. I don't have someone in the back telling me these things. So I'm just doing everything with like a raw, purest like form. So it has helped me so far, and I'm sure it's going to help me in the long run.
No, definitely. I mean, like the way your growth speaks for itself, right? Like of an organic kind of content. Like when you share yourself organically like this, or being planned too much, people kind of resonate with that. And what's the learning curve been? Like anything that you've learned over this, like as you become more known?
I've learned to love myself. I've already love myself enough, but throughout the process, I've learned to accept that not everybody's gonna like you, and that's okay. Not everybody's gonna love your music, that's okay. People are gonna talk bad about you, and that's okay. So that's my learning curve. Like about what I said about like people hating on me, that's like nothing new. Like, but I'm focusing on people loving me. So these are the learning curve, and it has built me to be more accepting of like how people portray me, but I'm gonna be me.
It almost feels like through your art, through your fans, you're kind of you're becoming stronger.
Yes.
Right? You can bolder.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I feel like I have like an army behind me.
Yeah.
And nowadays, even like under my comments, if someone says something, I don't even have to respond. I have people responding on my behalf. And that's like such a cool feeling. I don't have to fight my battles anymore. I got my people.
That's amazing.
Yes.
But like going back to like management side, right? Like I'm pretty sure now that you're getting noticed, people are coming to you like, oh, let me help you with this, let me do that, or let me do this for you. Like, how do you manage that? Like, how do you select people to work with?
I guess intention. I want to know what their intention is.
Yeah.
And what are they looking from me? I'm an independent artist, so I'm not from a wealthy family, middle class family, and in my family, every single one of us work.
Yeah.
So to me, if someone comes into my life wanting to help me, I always wonder, what are they gaining from me? Like is it like, are they genuinely want to help me because they see talent and potential for my growth, or are they just want to ride the good wave that I have right now? So that's important for me. Anybody who wants to help me, like I always wonder, like, why do you want to help me? What is that, like, there's so many people out there, and why me? So like that's how I decide if someone has good intention for me and have the best for me.
I mean, you don't have any names, but has there been any like negative associations you've had with people? No, and honestly, like I said, the firm group has helped me sponsor my music videos. I have few people want to sponsor me for my album, but it all depends on what they want in return from me, right? And if I'm able to give them what they want from me. And most of the time it's a shout out, it's cool, but most of the time it's beyond shout outs, if you know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, okay, well, stay away from me. So I mean, absolutely. Like you become like, especially in the Tamil community, right? Like it's such a subgroup, like a small subgroup of people, but we're so vocal.
Yes.
And like there's a lot of artists now coming up in Europe who are really standing out and really doing amazing things. And it's become like we're a true diaspora. Like there's Tamil people all across the world. Each of them developed a different kind of voice, but same kind of united by this ancient language, right?
Yeah.
How's that interaction been like? Now that you're noting, like, are you meeting artists from different people, parts of the world that come from a different language? Like, how has that interaction been?
So yeah, so because of this social media, the power of networking and internet, it's easy to connect with people, especially if you put out good content. Like they follow you, you send them a DM, and hey, you're friends.
Yeah.
So from India, I was able to connect with a few people from Kerala. I did 2 songs for the movie, for action movie with Hip Hop Tamla, and I also done one with Sid Sriram where I sang a small rap portion. So this all happened through social media. So and going to Rwanda, I met artists from Tanzania, Kenya, and these are the things that I never ever imagined happening in my life. And again, because of social media and everything, it made it easier to connect. And people from Europe, like Tamil people, they have their own path. When you think about independent music, we're creating so much noise in the independent scene, right? And most independent artists sing in Tamil, rap in Tamil. So, which is nice because the younger generations are looking up to them.
Yeah.
So we're making a lot of noise in the independent industry, and I'm grateful to have had the movie side of exposure in South India. So we'll see more things coming up.
Yeah, how's that journey in in India been like navigating the movie scene? Like,
so India feels like closest to home because Jaffna is home. Yeah. But because of certain situations that happened, I feel like India is the closest to home. So when I go to India, Chennai, I'm like them. I just walk around like it's my own country, and people look at me so weird. This girl has 2 nose piercing and she's wearing these Nike shoes with so much swag. Where's she from? And I would talk to them in Tamil and they would respond to me in English. Yeah. And it's called Tamil Nadu. Come on, Yeah. So I'm making a statement, saying that hey, if I'm talking to you in Tamil, that means that you can talk to me in Tamil too. So it's nice. Chennai it's home, definitely, like close to home. I feel like home when I'm there. And the movie industry has opened up doors for me where I'm in contact with some big people. And we're cooking some stuff, but I can't speak about it until it's finalized. Of course. But a lot of things are happening slowly but surely, and I'm planning to go to India maybe in 3 weeks, to do my album work and to perform as well. So I'm super excited, and I feel like this year I'm going all out. Yeah.
No, I'm excited for you. I've seen the build up towards this moment, right? But like going back to India, like, is there any differences in working with the art industry there, like the film industry, music industry? Like it's probably culturally different a little bit, right? Too.
Yeah. Right? So when you're making your own song, you're your own boss.
Yeah.
But if you are doing a song for a movie, it's based on a scenario and based on what they want. So that's the shift, right? So you're being told what to do, and here you're just being you.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of struggle for me because I was given a scenario, and then working with Hip Hop Tamla was amazing because he started as an independent artist, so he was very helpful. But like I'm saying, in the longer run, it could be based on certain scenarios, and I think I would get used to it. Right? Yeah. I think it's all a stepping stone, and Tamil cinema is something that I want to grow, and I want to work with that entire cinema field. And I would love to sing for Rajinikanth's intro voice with a female tone. I think that would be super dope. I want to work for, I have dreams, and I have big dreams.
So the scary dreams,
the scary ones is wanting to work for work with Rajinikanth sir, and work with these big influencers in the Tamil cinema who are making noise. So
No, I mean that'd be amazing to see. But again, I think it comes back down to the cultural struggle, right? Because especially in South India, it's such a male-dominated culture scheme, right? Where it's always a male hero, it's always geared towards that. The females are still portrayed as the weaker ones. And your music, your art, your form is completely against that. I mean, you're always the heroine in your videos, in your music. Right? Has there ever been has it come up where they want to soften you up?
Soft and no, I don't think nobody has ever tried that.
Perfect. That's
They
good.
probably know that it's not gonna go
Not
well.
gonna happen. Yeah.
I portray myself as who I am. I think that's probably why I gained so much support in such a short period.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like this movie, like half of the time the movie heroines, you know, they always act like, oh, they don't know what's going on. I'm living in a la la land, everything is beautiful. I'm like, really? So that needs to be changed, and I think that someone like Nayanthara is making that change. Like if you see her recent movies, she takes charge.
Yeah.
You know, she's picking these storylines that are mainly focused on like women, and she's playing these bold characters, and I think that change is already happening in the Tamil cinema.
Yeah.
So which is pretty cool.
What's your favorite movie?
What from Nayanthara?
Yeah.
Good question. Did you see the movie where the kid falls into what's Adam?
I haven't seen a Tamil movie in a while.
Yeah,
I need to get back into that 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make an effort into that. I'm asking because I'm gonna watch it then.
Okay, yeah, it's a good movie. It's based on like, you know, what actually happens in India in a certain rural area, and she's just a boss lady.
Okay. What's the name of the movie again?
Adam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's a good one.
And you have an all-time favorite? I'm assuming your favorite movies are Tamil movies.
Yeah, and I only, you know, like watching Tamil movies and listen to. I have so many favorite movies. I can't really pick one, but Thalapathy.
Okay.
No, we go way back. So Thalapathy is the classic one. Yeah.
The classic one. Any reason why?
Oh no, the storyline is amazing, and it's Rajinikanth. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, I know you're talking about the future projects a little bit, about the album coming up and all this, but I mean, with social media especially, you can't help but get drawn into like cultural battles, right? A lot of, especially for in the Tamil community, and actually every community, right? And the idea of like what it means to be part of that community comes into effect, right? What it means to be Tamil is kind of, it's such an interesting issue now that people are trying to figure it out. How do you define people that came from an ancient language and define them into one category? This is what it means to be, right? And you've been vocal about that too, right?
There's this whole like social media battle. If you're Tamil, you should do this. If you're Tamil, you shouldn't do this. If you're Tamil, like, you know, you should act this way. And then it's so surprising to see that in our generation. Like in my parents' generation, but like in our generation, it's like becoming so, I don't know, it's like I'm seeing people post and like have these social media fights and bullying and all that. Like people feel so entitled to comment about how one chooses to portray themselves. If I choose to portray myself as NAVZ-47, okay, let's do a little research on where she's from, what she has done. Like a whole background story is involved, and everybody has something to say. So I think with this whole social media drama, like I try to stay away. Like I focus on people who love me. Pretty simple.
Cool.
So yeah.
Like one thing that I would love to see, right, is you working with international artists on like international music, as in like different languages combining together. Have you tried anything with that?
So far, I haven't really mixed. You know, for an example, I would love to work with Cardi B. I think she's so dope. I would love to work with those international artists, but I think it's work in progress. Just like how Spanish music is common in Hollywood, I wanted to make it look like Tamil music is pretty common too. You know, so that's something that I would really like to accomplish in the future. But as of now, my album is my first priority, and I haven't really collaborated with anyone else so far. Especially this year is about me, my brand, and my album. So that's what my focus is. Maybe the following year, 2021, I would like to collaborate with like more international artists. But yeah. Cool.
MIA, right? Like being a Tamil artist, especially, you cannot appreciate her music and her voice.
Oh my God, yes.
Right? There's so many similarities I see between you guys in that kind of aspect, right? I mean, there is. You guys are edgy. You guys are both very vocal, know what you want, and scream it out to the world, right? Okay. You're very rough with your music as well, right? Like you're very purpose-driven. Have you watched any documentary?
No, I haven't. I should. I know, but I've seen a couple of clips.
Yeah,
and,
you have to watch that documentary.
Yeah.
I caught it here when it first premiered. She premiered here in Toronto. I ended up getting a free ticket. Shout out to CTPA.
Okay.
Right? They reserved a few tickets and gave it out to a few people and caught it. She played it at the AGO downtown, like at an actual like museum cinema, right? Like
wow.
very close, small theater.
Yeah.
And people just walked in and started watching that too. And here was a story of a female artist, a Tamil artist, from a little bit older generation, like in between generation between
yes.
our parents and us. And her story of how she struggled as an immigrant and utilized
her platform,
her platform, but how she built it. Right, you have to watch it.
Yeah,
I think.
I watched a couple of clips of it.
Yeah.
I understand like the storyline and everything, but it's nothing like watching the entire thing.
Yeah.
But she's been very supportive.
Yeah.
Like she follows me on Instagram, and the day she started following me, oh my god,
Yeah.
I took a screenshot and I still have it on my phone.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, Mom, look, MI is following me.
That's big.
But yeah, so she's been very supportive, and you know, like her music speaks to me. Like her tone and the simplicity in her music, and you know, it's very clear. Like there's no beating around the bushes in her music. Straight to the point.
Yeah.
I want to talk about borders. Here's borders. I want to talk about like, you know, like drugs. Here's a song about that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's no hiding.
No,
like,
absolutely.
You know,
I
she's
love
very
not the political, but like the message. Like
Yeah.
her music, her songs each have a message, right?
Yeah.
I was just talking to a friend about one of our favorite songs. What's that? Paper Planes. Right? One of my friends, the Mats, the realtor, shout out to Mats of Paper Planes Group. He named his company Paper Planes
Oh my
Group
God.
after that song.
Oh my god.
Right? That's how much it spoke. That music spoke. Because in the documentary, she talks about this. Because it's such a controversial song. Because it's like literally gunshots, and it's like, we're going to take your money.
Money, yeah.
It's so aggressive, right?
Yeah.
Going back to aggressiveness,
Yeah.
people like give her shit for it. And she talked about like, no, this is a parody on the immigrant struggle. Her thing was that, no, it's like everyone thinks the immigrants are coming here over a plane, coming here to come and steal your money.
Your jobs, yeah.
So I'm gonna make a video like, yeah, this is what we're here for.
Yeah.
So what? What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
And she's like, she ran a parody on it, and especially viewing it from that lens has a whole new like appreciation for that song, right? So me and that guy actually watched the documentary together, and after she explained that, he went out and named his company Paper Planes Group.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I know, I've seen a couple of people have a tattoo of Paper Planes. She's dope. Like honestly, if I could meet her one time, it would be nice.
No, definitely. Funny enough, when she was here for the premiere, I was supposed to be invited to a private event where she wasn't. She wasn't allowed access to Canada for some reason.
Oh, okay. I'm not surprised.
Something happened, and then somehow some strings were pulled. Somebody got involved and helped bring her in, and I missed it. Right?
Yeah.
My parents were there.
Oh my god.
My parents were there. They were chilling with her, right? And they were talking to her and all that. But yeah, man, great that you have attracted the attention of someone with such a vocal platform as well. But any songs from her that speaks out to you?
I like her song Bird Flu.
Bird Flu, yeah.
It has the Indian, like, you know, folk style. I like that. I like the song Boys.
Yeah.
Borders for sure.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like every single one of us can relate to that. She's just amazing. I have like no words to describe her, like honestly. Like.
So if you watched like the, again, back to the documentary, right? She talked about how like before she found her voice, part of what she did was went back home. She was actually a videographer.
Seriously?
She started her career being a videographer. She used to record other artists. Right? And so she talks about it. She has her entire life, like we have Instagram now. She has her entire life on VCR tapes. She carried around a camera and talked about it. And that's what she made the documentary herself. This is her life filmed from her angle. Right?
Crazy.
And one of the things, she went back home back in 2006, I think, back when the Tigers still controlled the northern half of Sri Lanka, and the Tamil population living under their things. And she went and she was looking at this, and she would see Tamil girls her age. In military outfits, military uniform, right? AK-47s, walking around, right? Being part
fighting
of this,
for their freedom,
fighting for their freedom. And literally, she talked about one scene. She's like, there was like 3 girls in military uniform, right? Sitting like in a tree, climbed up into a tree, and they're braiding each other's hairs, right? One at a time with like AK in their lap. And she's just like, if I was here, that would have been me.
Yeah.
And that
would have been any of
you know,
any of us, yeah.
And that sparked her rebellious spirit, right?
Yes.
So MIA, like as you know, she's missing in action. Her father who went missing in action, right? And
she's a very influential person. Like her whole background story is amazing. And she showed her frustration through music, art. So which I can relate to.
Yeah.
Because that's my escape too. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, funny enough, I found out MMA through my dad, who randomly saw it in a newspaper back in like 2008, 2009 when she played in Coachella.
Oh God!
Right?
Wow.
Off a song she again put up online, right? She was not an artist. She wrote something and she put it up, and it got downloaded illegally. I was one of them too, off like Kazaa and these torrent sites, right? They downloaded legally and blew up. And blew up to a point where Coachella, which again is still to this day one of the biggest musical festivals, asked her to come perform because that's how much crowd it was, right? So this idea of like putting your art out there, putting your soul out there, and being discovered, I mean, we are more empowered than ever before.
Yes.
Like previous generations were limited by their, being connectivity and computers and tools. We're more information nowadays. So what would you say to like emerging artists now, like who are trying to find their voice?
Like I said in the beginning, like we are blessed because we are in this digital era where everything is available to you, the tip of your finger. So it's about how well you use it, and consistency is the key. One, if you try to do something, it doesn't work out, try something different the next time. And then like keep improving yourself. And I think that's what worked for me. And I see like a lot of growing artists, they give up so easily. Like, don't give up so easily. Like, I could have like, after this video, 2012, like, that you uploaded, I would have just been like, okay, I didn't receive enough likes. I didn't receive enough comments. So people don't like me. And I could have just been, bathroom singer.
Yeah.
So, but then like, I didn't give up. I was like, I'm not giving up, because there's a little voice inside me that keeps getting louder as I grow older. That the voice that I'm hearing right now, I used to hear it when I was 13, 14, 15. The difference is it's so loud to a point now I can't silence the voice. And that's how it like, blew out of proportion, because the voice is loud now. It's like having somebody next to me and constantly telling me, you gotta go, you gotta keep moving. There's other stuff that's waiting for you. Keep going now. So like,
Yeah.
And and the same voice, I heard it when I was younger, for sure. It's just that the difference is it's just getting louder. I don't know how to silence it. I think it will silence on its own. I think it will be silenced on its own when I get to the place that is waiting for me. I think so.
No, definitely. I mean, I hate to do this like near the end of the episode, but one thing I was not sure I wanted to talk about, but I want to bring up, I'll leave it up to you, how far we can go into this. But I was talking about is Myron.
Yeah.
Right? And you talked a little bit about your emo year, where like everything was more black and white for you. And before you got really into music, close friend passed away.
Yeah.
All right. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And Myron's death was very, very, very shocking to me. I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about cancer at that point, and he was someone that I imagined spending my rest of the life with. And losing him and music getting introduced was around the same time. And if it wasn't for music, if it wasn't for the $400 my little sister saved up, I don't think I'll be here, to be honest with you. And I was depressed. I shaved my head. I was bald. I'm sure you know that phase that I went through. And now looking back, and I'm like, I'm so happy that I didn't choose the wrong path. I could have simply got addicted to drugs. I could have simply did the wrong things, because I was 21.
Yeah.
And I'm losing someone that I was in love with and I wanted to like spend the rest of my life with. So when that hit me, it hit me hard. In my life, I'm such an unlucky person. I'm unlucky. Like everything that I have right now, I had to work so hard for it. And I had to work like 3 times harder than a normal person would have to. I'm so unlucky. Like it's like I don't mind saying it. I'm a very unlucky person. And when Myron died, it just confirmed that why does all these bad things have to happen to me?
Yeah.
And my sister saved up this money, like, you know, she had like 2 knees, $5 here and there. She was 16 at that time. She had a big bucket, like, you know, money. And I said, Myrna, like, I think I want to get a guitar. But at that time I quit my job to take care of him. And she just gave me this big bucket of money. She goes, here, I don't know how much there is, go get yourself a guitar. And I went to the bank. I have a picture of me like waiting in the bank with that big, teddy bear looking, it was, I don't know what to call it. Like, it was like a jar, you know? And then I went there and she had like $400 that she saved throughout her 12, 13 years of age. And I'm like, and then I got the money. I went and I got myself a guitar. And I remember playing the guitar until the tip of my fingers would turn purple and bleed. I wouldn't stop because that was my escape. And I would play songs. And all the songs that I write, which people connect to, is for Myron, and it will always be for Myron. Any love songs, any heartbreak songs that you hear from me, and probably people could feel that because there's so much pain. Like, it's been 7 years now. It's been 7 years now. There's not a day that goes by without me thinking about him. Like, it's like stuck. It's like the first thing, like, you know, that when I grab my guitar, write music, it's just him. You know? But I've learned so much through the process, and I'm grateful that I met someone like him because he taught me so many great things that cannot be taught, you know? So it's love. Love turned into music. The pain turned into music. Struggle. Everything turned into music. You know, everything got, like, you know, summed up, and the only escape that I had, like, this much problem, but the only escape that I had was through music.
And that's really my appreciation if you really grew, right? Like, I saw you go through that struggle. I mean, we used to chat whenever we could, and you used to tell me, you know, what's going on updating through the situation. And like, my thing has always been like how far you went as a supporter, right? To support, you know, everything he was doing, everything he needed, but also leukemia blood drive, bone marrow. So, like, your first real interviews going out there was to propagate this blood drive you're doing for him, right? To get the kind of donors that he needed. And the amount of work you put into it, and the amount of effort. Hearing that song, for me, right? I don't know the words. You explain it after again, but I felt that. I knew where the place was coming from, and that's where I knew. I'm like, you are so able to communicate, even to somebody who doesn't understand, unfortunately, everything you're trying to say. But you can communicate to that. Like, I am so sure, like, you're gonna go far. So I hope you keep producing music, keep doing what you're doing, get into film, get into everything you need to do. And congrats to you and everything you're doing.
Thanks so much, Ravi. I mean, like, it's like talking to you, it takes me way back where we would have conversation in the car, late night phone conversations. And honestly, like, it's, like I said, I feel so blessed, and like having you part of my life and go through this journey with someone who knows me as Naveeni, it's also an added blessing. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. And I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Honestly, like, you have a great team here. Like, honestly, shout out to everybody in the room. But like, this is gonna go far, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you. And it's been an hour.
It's been an hour already?
Yeah.
Man.
Right. Perfect. Devs, thanks for coming on.
Thank you again.
Can't wait to get this episode out. Right?
Perfect. I heard it's a 47th episode.
47th episode, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. My God, that was dope.